Passenger volume in the airline industry has declined dramatically over the past 2 years, and thus fewer travelers and fewer planes are using airports. Since airport expansion can be warranted by only increases in air traffic volume, and since it will probably be at least 5 years before passenger volume returns to and then exceeds its previous level, it seems surprising that now is the time that airports are going ahead with plans to expand their passenger terminal facilities.
All right, so we're saying that it's surprising that now is the time that airports are going ahead with plans to expand their passenger terminal facilities. Why do we think that's surprising? Because what other thing is happening?
Something else is happening. Because passenger volume in the airline industry has declined dramatically over the past few years.
Yep, and why else? It's kind of a two-point thing, because it's like, you're right, it has declined dramatically, and what else?
And the airport expansions can be warranted by increases in air traffic volume, but since it probably be at least 5 years.
Yes. So it's like, not only has it declined the past 2 years, but it's not getting any better anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So this fact, so then they're like, well, because it's not getting better anytime soon, like it's bad and it's not getting better, why might it be that now is the time that we're going to expand our passenger facilities? What could make that both of these statements true?
If you expand it, then it won't dramatically decline.
So you're thinking that maybe if we expand our facilities, more people are going to try to fly?
Correct.
Okay.
Just like in the Atlanta airport, if they expanded their facility, I'd fly there more.
Because you're tired. Yeah, because you're like, I'm not going there. Oh, but one thing that I think it might be is we're not saying that the passenger volume is down at just one airport. We're saying the airline industry in general. So this is
right.
like, maybe this is like after 9/11. So like people are just afraid of flying. So like, why when people are afraid of flying, are we maybe expanding our facilities?
Where they're going to expand it. They're going to expand the different airlines per se.
Okay. Why am I? My prediction is just because like they would like they're doing it because they know that the volume's going to reach, like maybe it's after 9/11 and they're like, people are going to be scared for 5 years, but after that it's going to boom again, right? So they're like, we would rather do this now when we're slow, like, you know, construction. Like, why do they do like I can't think of a good, I think construction is terrible all the time, but ideally they would do construction on a road the time of year when it's less busy on that road, right?
Right.
Like, you live in Atlanta, so you're like, it's busy all the time, so it doesn't matter. But where I'm from a very rural area, and they would try to do it when it's least busy, or sometimes they do. Why do they sometimes do construction at night versus the day?
Because no one really travels at night.
Yes, because it's less. So maybe the reason that they're doing it now is because it's less busy and they just want to get it out of the way because they know it's going to return. I don't know. That's just my prediction.
Well, that's a good prediction.
But there could be there could be multiple reasons, right? So let's go ahead and go into this and try to see what answer we like.
I don't know.
So for A, we're trying to explain why this is happening. So does it being more difficult to finance when the economy is in a period of decline? Does that explain why we're expanding now?
No.
I feel like that's the you would think that like if it's hard to finance, you would think now we wouldn't be doing it, right?
Right.
So A is not a good answer. All right, what about B?
No, it could be.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Let's go on to C.
I wouldn't use C.
Near the future. Yeah, that like what does that have to do with like why we're expanding our facilities?
I like that one.
Okay, so let's leave this one. And then what about E?
I don't like that one.
Yeah, that like why would we getting bigger if airlines and like if there's gonna be less routes? Like that is like what doesn't make sense, right? You would think we would have went less, not more. So whenever we're between two, we want to go back and remind ourselves like what we're trying to do here. And so what we're trying to do is try to explain why when passenger volume is down, we're building the facilities now. So which one between B and D does a better job of answering that why?
I honestly will go with B.
Okay, so this one says when passenger volume begins to grow again after a period of decline, most airlines can absorb the increase without adding new routes or new planes. So if they're going to stay the same size, why would they build a bigger facility? What could we do to, how could we change D to make it a better answer?
When passenger volume begins to grow again after a period of increase, most airlines can initially absorb.
So what I was thinking was still after a period of decline, maybe most airlines like can't handle the increase without having more space or something. So rather than like saying that we can handle it without adding new routes or new planes, if we said that they needed new routes or new planes, it would make sense why they want to build a larger area, right?
Okay.
But here it doesn't really make sense because it's saying like, hey, we can handle it, and when we come back, we can still handle it. So it's not explaining why we're going to build bigger facilities at all.
Okay.
Where B is actually giving us a reason where it's saying like, hey, low volume allows us to actually make this expansion without inconveniencing the public. So it's kind of like that construction example. So it actually explains, it kind of tells us why we're doing this now versus like 5 years from now or 5 years ago or 5 years into the future. It's like why we're doing it actually now. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, cool.